Well, guys, 2024 has let us down in a variety of ways so far, and it seems like on social media the trend is that if something's not currently working for us, we go back and we do something that does. What I'm finding out is that there are a lot of people who missed out on the Horizon series for some weird reason with how great the game is. People for this I'm running into a lot of people that have never even touched the game. So I'm making this video for two reasons. One, most importantly, get people's attention toward Horizon because it seems like a lot of people that I've run into in social conversations don't know what this game is and have not even tried it. So this is more of an informative piece. And the second reason is that Horizon 3 has to be in development by now at Guerrilla Games. And by no means, Gorilla, can you mess this up. I'm not even kidding. Do not, please do not mess up Horizon. Okay? There's a reason why that I'm very connected with this series. Aloy is my second favorite character in all of gaming. And no, it's not because she's a girl. It is because her whole entire story, which I will get to later, is a comeback story. In the simplest of terms, she's a comeback kid, and that's what everybody loves about her. Um, Normally, though, when I do these kinds of videos, I normally talk about how the game looks first because that's what draws me to a game. I don't play games that look bad, and I can't stand it. That's just my personal preference, though. Go out there, play whatever games you like, but my personal preference is it better look damn good if I'm gonna buy it for $70. Um, the second reason, or the second thing that I normally do in these videos, is I tell you how the game works, gameplay loop, mechanics, things that don't work, things that need to get improved on, yada yada yada, so forth. And then I give a big, huge story spoiler, guys, to tell you that I'm going to be talking about the story, so that you can mark this video later if you have not played Horizon yet. All right. Um, so to start things off, this game looks absolutely amazing. No matter what biome or whatever geography that you have Aloy in, it looks absolutely stunning. From the first part of the game, you start off in a very mountaineered region, sort of like, Colorado, uh, northern Utah, that type of deal. It's a very mountainous area, it looks really good from the perspective that you have. It This game has every type of geography known to man. It has deserts, high-end snow-capped mountains, tropical forests, beaches, a lot of water in this game, believe it or not. And the map is absolutely huge, and there's a shit ton to do. There's not a single side quest that I have done, and I have done all 33 of them for the main quest, and I have not completed the 12. I have not completed the 12 yet for the DLC, which the DLC is awesome, but I will get into that later. Um, but there is not one boring side quest in this whole entire game. All these side quests, they have their unique feel to them, and every time that the main character Aloy meets somebody, it feels like not only is she getting a fresh engagement in the story, but she's also trying to navigate that certain person's tribe and feelings, and she's trying to help out to the best of her ability. That's what all the side missions are. There's also a shit ton of collectibles. Uh, the thing about the collectibles is that the game actually rewards you with things like weapons and armor for doing these. There's three types, I believe. There's the survey drones, the ornaments, and the Vista points for the main game. I'm not through the DLC, so I don't know what all of the collectibles are for the Burning Shores DLC yet. I am still in the middle of my platinum run, and I plan on completing that once I do New Game Plus. Um, So the whole entire gameplay loop around Horizon Zero Dawn is that you're more or less you're hunting animals. Okay, as you progress through the story, the game has these like certain like mission markers, you could say, where the difficulty all of a sudden throughout the whole entire map just decides to go upward at a very steep angle. They designed it that way, which it is. It's very enticing because the more that you gather these parts, the more you upgrade your stuff. It makes you want to go out and do the harder stuff so you can get the better gear. And the gameplay loop actually works because each and every machine in this game, no matter what it is, has its own certain play style that you have to adapt to. Believe me, you can have your own my first playthrough with this when I was going for my platinum run was a infiltrator trapper. Two of the hardest two of the hardest ones to use in the whole entire game, in my opinion, anyway. Um, but the trapper thing just put the difficulty way up there. And it was actually pretty fun once I got around to seeing how Trapper works and getting familiar again with the Tripcaster and the Ropecaster. Oh, and by the way, there's like 8 different types of weapons in this game. There's like a normal bow, warrior bow, sharpshooter bow, which is like an equivalent to modern sniper rifles, Tripcaster, Ropecaster, slingshot, and a spike thrower. A spike thrower is like this big old freaking lance that she just throws at people, and it they do certain things depending on which one you got. I have one right now that's currently a purple or a very rare, and it drills into the enemy and then does a slight explosion when it's done. But the drilling into the enemy is constant damage over the period of time that it's actually drilling into them. So impact damage is what you want. Every one of these weapons does their own thing. Like the hunter bow is more about getting parts off of animals more than anything. It does damage to weak points. They're easy to craft. They're not that hard on resources. The sharpshooter bow is kind of more about precision over greater lengths of space. It's a slower draw, heavier arrow. It does more damage on impact. The slingshot, they come in these the ammo is like these little balls, and depending on which slingshot you have, you're going to dish out elemental damage based on the ammo that you put in it. The tripcaster is like a 2-point tripwire thing, and you just put it in one place, put it in another, machine walks right through it, and you're basically doing the status effect or explosive damage to them depending on your tripcaster. Ropecaster is like, oh, and there's also a bolt caster. I forgot about that one. The rope caster is actually one of my favorite weapons to use because it ties down animals and gives you that little tiny edge to where you can, do some damage to them without, while keeping yourself safe. And the rope caster is especially effective against bigger animals out there, like the fireclaw, frost claws, Thunderjaws, the spine splitters. Uh, the list goes on and on. That ropecaster is good for basically anything big. You can use a ropecaster on, and it just makes your life so much easier. Um, the boltcaster, though, the boltcaster is this big, huge, heavy, like shotgun type deal. Um, it's hard to explain. What it does is when you aim down sights, you'll see your reticle with it. The reticle gets small into a point, and then it just spits out like these bolts in one given little like funnel, like a shotgun. Except they're bigger and they're heavier, and they come with elemental or explosive damage depending on what bolt caster. If you fully upgrade the trapper, no, it's not the trapper. If you fully, oh yes, and then there's warrior bows too, which are these rapid fire hunter bows that don't do a lot of damage, but if you decide to fully upgrade the warrior skill tree, you'll have access to its perks and all of its bonuses. Speaking of all of that, there are 6 skill trees in this whole entire game. starting from warrior, going all the way to machine master. They all do various different things. They all give you various different upgrades. The little circles are passive, so as soon as you acquire a circle on the skill tree, you have it for the rest of your game save. You can't take it back, at least by what I can see, because you can level up and acquire all of them, and that's just my playthrough though. Now, depending on what you want to play, is how the skill tree affects what gear you have, because there's also outfits too. Outfits can range from everything from an infiltrator to a dead shot to an elemental expert, mixed gear. If you there's certain like quests that you complete that give you mixed gear that are a combination of like an elemental master and a hunter all rolled into one, and the stats are pretty ridiculous with mostly these mixed gear, but they're very, very rare that you'll find them. Most of the time, the mixed gear that I found, I tend to just, if I don't like it, I tend to just put it in the safe and keep it for later. I'm sorry, I'm so tired, guys. Day job is just like walking me to death. So after that, it's all about basically building it around what you like. I highly suggest, with the way that the gameplay loop works, you take your weapons, you take your gear, you go out there, you hunt these animals. Depending on what animal, you're either detaching or you're trying not to destroy, like fire claws and frost claws. Okay, the thing that's going to run you for a loop with those two is that they're giant ass bears that are made out of fire or frost, and they're very, very lethal. Getting up into higher difficulties, they're one of the most lethal mechanical animals in the whole entire game because they're fast, they dish out a lot of damage. And on top of that, the thing that you need to upgrade your gear, you can't destroy that weak point. You have to keep that weak point alive. I highly suggest, if you're going to go after fire claws or frost claws, get very familiar with your rope caster because that thing will save your life. But next is the story, and this is where things get a little bit interesting. If you played Horizon Zero Dawn, the very first one, you know that Aloy is she was just straight up thrown out of her tribe for the stupidest of reasons, like not having a mom, which I find to be completely. As you're playing through these games, if you've never played the Horizon series, you will find a lot of the subclasses or sub-characters around Aloy are very, very ignorant, but at the same time, you fully understand why they're ignorant, because they're quite literally human remnants from an apocalypse that happened. And at this point, if you haven't played Horizon 2 yet, you don't know how many apocalypses have happened. Okay? Just to sum up Horizon Zero Dawn really quickly, okay? Aloy is the clone of a person or a scientist known as Elizabeth Sobek. Elizabeth Sobek built the Gaia program, or the Zero Dawn system. The Zero Dawn system was supposed to re-terraform the Earth after an apocalyptic event that was supposed to destroy it. So, over the course of Horizon 2, you're going to start figuring out that human beings actually initiated what happened to the world and why Elizabeth Sobek wanted to save it so badly. That's what Horizon Zero Dawn is about, the very first game. Horizon 2, well, she wasn't able to. She ended up saving what her civilization, where she's from, but it turns out that the terraforming system not being activated yet has gone into the whole entire planet. Superstorms have happened. A whole bunch of famine has happened. There's this particle out there that is infecting all kinds of living matter, and it is killing off food at a rapid pace, and people are starving to death and dying. And Aloy wants to save the world, and she knows that the only way that she can is with the DNA that Elizabeth Sobek gave her, because she's a clone. So throughout your whole entire adventure here in Horizon 2, you're going to be trying to get Gaia, who is the Zero Dawn system, the core of it. Your whole entire job by the end of the game is to get Gaia back to full capacity so that she can heal the world. Along this journey, you find out that Ted Faro really is the biggest scumbag in the world, because that story wasn't finished from Horizon Zero Dawn. Oh, you'll find out that Silence is back, and he's just as big a scumbag as he was in the first game. No offense to the actor that plays him. It's so refreshing to see you play a bad guy. But we do miss you, dude. And I was one of those people that stood at the tower. For those of you that don't know who Silence actor is, he is the guy who plays the Titan at the Titan Tower in Destiny, and he passed away right after John Wick 4 came out, and he has done a lot of video games to include this one, which is going to be a hard slot to fill, which is, I imagine, one of the huge roadblocks that Guerrilla has in front of them when it comes to filling that role, because now they got to get rid of Silence, which kind of sucks. And it kind of doesn't, because you end up hating Silence just as much as you hate the main, antagonist and villain of the Horizon series, which you'll find out at the end, and I'm not going to spoil that for people who haven't played the game. Just to let you know, the whole entire game for Horizon 2 is the starting point is you knowing you have to get Gaia back to full form and full function. And you're the only one that can. And when you get out into the end game, it's how you use Gaia at that point. And then the DLC with Burning Shores so far is, well, one of the stupid little main antagonists decided to escape our grasp during the big old fight at the end of the main game, and Burning Shores is all about hunting him down and finding him before he kills a whole bunch of people, because I don't know why, but human beings like doing that to each other, just, mass murder and all that. And I'm sorry, YouTube, can't use the big old M word. But the whole entire goal is to stop the main enemy, who used to be humans on Earth before the apocalypse happened the first time. Then they got into a ship, ran away like a bunch of little cowards, ruined another planet out of sheer stupidity and ego, and now the problem that destroyed the planet they were on is following them to Earth, and that's where we get to Burning Shores and hopefully Horizon 3. So that's it for the story. Now, I'm going to end this off by telling Guerrilla, and this is a message directly for you, Guerrilla, please do not be Rocksteady 2.0. We beg you, do not mess up Horizon 3, please. Us gamers are looking for good games out there, and right now we have Helldivers 2, and that is it. Every multiplayer game right now is so filled with cheaters that you can't even enjoy competitive play anymore. We haven't had a good storyline since Resident Evil 4, and that's a remake, for Christ's sake. Hideo Kojima hasn't come out with anything. Death Stranded 2 is still in the works. We need you guys to come through, like, really badly. Please do not ruin the Horizon series with this DEI crap. Please don't do it. I beg you. I'm on my knees pleading. Video gaming has already ruined Batman for me, and the way that they knocked out Kevin Conroy's legacy with that really shitty way that Batman dies in that Suicide Squad game. Please, 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 please don't ruin my second favorite character in all of gaming, which you created. Please don't do it. Please. Please. Anyway, guys, I will end the video right there. If you have not played the Horizon series, I highly suggest you play it. Play it from start to finish. Get all the DLCs. Get Frozen Wilds for the first one. Get Burning Shores for the second one. They are well worth your time. every single thing that you do in this game, minus the relic runs, but nobody likes doing pickup quests like that anyway. I don't mind it because there was something at the end of it that I got, which was a cool weapon, which I won't kill it for you. So play all these games, guys. Play the Horizon series. Really, really good. Really good. Great storytelling. Excellent graphics. The game looks good. The only thing I have to say that is truly negative about this game is that whoever is doing the climbing feature, please, for the love of God, fix the climbing. We've dealt with it for 2 games. It's gotten significantly better from the first one to the second one. I'll give you that. But at the same time, it still needs work and it still needs improvement. Okay? You guys made a very complex landscape for Aloy to run around in, and it's still shocking that you guys can't figure out how to make her climb right. I don't get it. But anyway, guys, please enjoy the video. If you guys want to, please go to w.gg. Use my code, Kilo391. Helps me out. I receive 10% of your guys' purchase there as profit for me, and it helps out the channel. I put all the Dubby stuff right back into YouTube or Twitch. So my Twitch and YouTube stuff will be down in the description in case you're finding this video at a third-party source. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe. I love y'all, and I'll see you in the next one.